What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. Herman Hansen taking down another second place with B-Troopers, this time a team event, the 3v3 LCS, and he's updated his list and he highlights one huge change, Dimensional Barrier. This is something I pointed out on Market Watch before, and don't fret about the max rarity if you're not in the game for it. The commons are still very affordable, play sets for around $1 to $2, and the Ultra from Dual Devastator a set for around $5, and even the secret rares from the Megatons a set for around $20, although those quantities are going and the sales rates are up. Now, why I did cover Dimensional Barrier before, it's good against Tenyi Swordsoul, you call Synchro, it's good against DPE, you call Fusion before he's ever able to come out. This card does some freaking work, but with the TCG World Premiere Archetype really showing off that it might help ritual cards, I want you guys to remember that this line is on the card. People usually think about extra deck monsters, pendulum monsters. Ritual is the first word, and this could be very good against that. And also for past formats, some people enjoy, you know, the triangle format of ABC, Paleo, Metal Flow. This fits in there. So for max rarity, it's been going up a lot. It's been underestimated for a long time. And now in the current format, as well as for some of those modern past formats, they're looking really darn nice. And they've been going up for these original secret rares. The other trap in the lineup is Evenly Matched. This was in his last list, also in this list. And this has been going off the market and up in price, especially for the original from Circuit Breaker, and I feel like even the dual power, oh man, selling almost out of quantities because it was the cheapest. This is crazy. We should have had this card in a structure deck, let's be real, and now we're just thirsty for another kind of reprint because Ghost from the trash, people aren't going to be busting it open just for this card and the chances at it. They want the Ghost rares, which are unrealistic. And the set's up so much, this has been doing nothing but going up also. So be aware that Evenly Matched as a board clear is seeing a little more play inside decks as well as going way up in price. And then finally, it's kind of funny that he doesn't use B-Trooper Scout Buggy when this is how he highlighted how much potential the deck has. Both of his list opting not to use that at all. And I feel like when we're looking through his list and how he has it set up and what he's doing with it, it's so freaking cool that it's even more budget for the main deck in a lot of senses than we could have imagined. So B-Troopers, I have noticed their quantities going down just a little, their sales rates going up quite a bit when you're looking around here and people paying even more just to get them quicker, top-rated sellers, that kind of stuff. And this is towards $4. So we're starting to see some movement a little bit upwards due to up sales rates and interest in these cards, with Lancer being the most expensive. Shadols are pretty heavily in the metagame, and Secret Rare Shadol Fusion kind of went up without me noticing at all. You can see it skyrocketing right here on the graph. It's around $7 for the Secret First Editions. People prefer this over the DUEA First Edition Super for the most part, but you can see certain quantities and copies of other past ones and other Shadol Fusions going up and out. Actually, let's check in. Let's see how much the First Edition is, and yeah, it's $4. It is cheaper, but I didn't know the other copies of Shadol Fusion were running out. You might want to get your playset sooner than later. I don't see where the next reprint of this would be, although it is missing Ultra Rare, and we have Ghost from the Past coming out, although it would have made more sense to put it with the first one with the actual Shadol cards in there. So no clue when we'll actually get another copy of this at all. It might be a long time. You do have the common out of the structure deck, but even that is a bit expensive. Now, a new Sky Striker card came out, and I'll give you 5 seconds to guess what happened with Sky Striker prices. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Did you guess it? They went way up and skyrocketed for something that was already getting bought out on speculation that the cards would be good? Yes. The original Dark Savior's Widow Anchor is even lower on quantities and skyrocketing, and if you're looking for a first edition right now, you're spending a good $35 before you're spending $45. Now, there is another secret rare when it comes down to it, and that's going to be the Battles of Legend. Remember when Battles would double dip reprints, and we'd say, that reprint was so good, let's do it again, but then with Rise of the Duelist and Eternity Code, we actually needed that to happen without special editions? Yeah, I remember too. Well, the Battles of Legend version is super low in quantities and running out too, but it's still quite a bit more affordable, around $17 to $18 right now. We also see Shizuku copies continuing to go off of the market and up in price, especially the secret rare. And then if you're really balling, you have the ultimate rares at 155 lows. Let's see if that's actually the lowest. It is before it's 160, 170. All the Sky Striker stonks, they seem to have paid off. I do want to remind you, though, Zeke does not work with the new card for the effect. If this card is link summoned is the wording, where the new card says that you get to special summon one from the extra deck to the EMZ, not link summon it on out. So keep in mind that Zeke will not be able to use the target face-up monster on the field banish effect, but Zeke does only have one printing, and it's in a $30 MSRP set that has aged relatively well, and this might continue to go up in price as people are trying to make their striker decks. Even as a one-of, you probably want access to this for your striker deck. Predaplant Chimera Rafflesia, speaking of decks that got support and have cards that only have one printing, it is getting bought out like crazy. I remember so many casual duels where I had an uphill battle dealing with this card. It reads, once per turn you can target one monster on the field with a level less than or equal to this card's, banish it. When an attack is declared involving this card and an opponent's face-up monster, you can activate this effect till the end of this turn. That opponent's monster loses 1,000 attack and this card gains 1,000. Once per turn during the standby phase, after this card was sent to the graveyard, you can add a polymerization spell or fusion spell card from your deck to your hand. That is even more powerful with the DPE engine here, and Predaplant's got so much freaking good support. So you have removal, you have recursion of resources, and you even have battle modification. 3 great effects all in one card. Now, the other Predaplant cards you might recall, oh wait, those are kind of hard to get. Immortal Destiny. We'll see if Immortal Destiny is going to bring a lot of these cards. I kind of assume they will in Legendary Duelist Season 3, but assuming it can be a downfall, so you see a lot of quantities starting to go lower, and people actually go and grab those cards now, especially for maybe the nicer versions, as they tend to print things in lower rarities for a lot of the cool cards. And there's a lot of different things. Speaking of Legendary Duel Season 3, people are really bottoming out Soul's price versus what it was, and a Dusted Gold and Malicious Bane. Well, you only really need one of each, right? They are far down in price versus what everybody expected in the set, and there are so many listers and so much competition despite the short printing. Droplet, however, not really going down all that much. The price of Sealed on Brothers of Legend, though, is as competition ramps up and people anticipate the waves and they want to get their money back to put into future projects to continue to turn their money where other people plan the diamond hands. There's a lot of approaches. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know your bankroll. I don't know how you can resist opening packs. I have a case of Brothers of Legend that a sponsor actually gave me for a missed payment, and I'm sitting there like, I kind of want to open it on stream. But when it comes to these sets, I feel like it is interesting. Every single of Legend set has gone up so much over time, but we're seeing fallout from waves to make product available so much longer. Then who's going to pay the price point later versus the cards inside and the pull rates? It's an interesting mix to watch develop. Dark Ruler No More is slated from the OCG structure to get a reprint in the TCG structure, but that's not confirmed from us, and a lot of people are fearing that it will not get the reprint. I kind of think it could be one of the ones Konami says, well, we just did that, let's not do it, or they could go, that reprint was so great, let's do it again, and honestly, it could use one, as the common is now a solid $10 up from $8 over time, and the secret rare version is nearing $20 freaking dollars out here. So I would like to see it get another reprint, but with it being in the Charmer structure and those still being on shelves, and this being the sole reason that it's selling, I could see Konami actually going yoink, but still giving us IDP, which is under the price of Dark Ruler No More, funny enough, as well as the other cards in the structure. But that's all speculation. We'll see what they choose to do with the structure. Hopefully Dark Ruler No More is in there for the Alba Strike structure deck. Drone Lockbird, speaking of a card that ended up in a structure deck and is now ridiculous in price like Ash Blossom, is about $20 plus for all versions. STBL getting a buyout again. The gold altar art being the cheapest, as when I bring this up, these cards are a bit thicker. You should want to double sleeve so cards are not discernible in your deck, and it's highly assumed that the reason Konami allowed double sleeving and changed the rules for that is that gold rares were a bit thicker and double sleeving would help them become less discernible slash not discernible in the deck. That's what I mean when I say you should be double sleeving with gold. It's not a rule, but you want to make sure, especially with a judge, that they cannot find cards in the deck, and gold has a literal thicker, especially with the first gold. It's not as bad with the second, but it has a thicker layer just with how the foiling is printing. So I would personally double sleeve with them, and I would highly suggest you do the same. But with every single copy of this, they've been going up. Even the ultimate rares have just been crazy in price, all staying stable throughout this format at 180 plus. Utopia got tons of support, and Utopic Onomatopoeia, it is no stranger to seeing a couple of waves in the past. Here is spiking to one of its higher points in Dual Power, a $30 MSRP set, and it's just really a great engine to go along with Utopia stuff. I believe I suggested this as penny stonks a while back. And speaking of Utopias, F-Zero has really stabilized around the $35 mark. You can see it has a market price of $37, but tons of sellers at $35, and that's where I constantly see it. And then the collector rare is kind of trying to hang around $120. This card, I've been putting it on my inboard with Phantom Knights, and it does so much freaking work. And it's one of those problems you definitely should have your deck prepared to deal with in the format with the armor that he gives himself. Also, F-Zero's highest rarity form that he's going to put himself on, Utopic Future himself, it's kind of stabilized around $8 before it quickly shoots to 10. A lot of them selling around 10, but I constantly see deals around 7 or 8 happening for this guy. And finally, water just keeps getting buyouts. Number 37, Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark. This card has been $5 for freaking ever. Now it is starting to go up towards that $7 range plus, and it's always been a decent tool for like OTK potential and what it really does for the deck, but I don't know how many decks are actually going to be playing this. So let me know in the comment section down below if you're a water duelist, you just want access to this since it only has one printing, which also overlays with number hunting over time. As people who completed their number collections, they've got to come around and get to this. And I do think that one of the only cards that looks really great in Premium Gold is going to be Xyz. Hope Harbinger looks amazing. This honestly looks pretty good. So I don't think too many people that are number collecting are, gold rare. I think with Xyz, it really highlights some of the best looks that you can have. That being said, thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. And let me know what you think of all the changes between new support equals prices go to future products and how they might turn out, and the current trends along with the meta spikes. Thanks for watching, everybody.